welcome back to the podcast, episode number 230. I'm sorry about that, 246, with Mr. Tom Dadant here, and I'm the host of the podcast, Dr. Dejan Matijevic of Healthy Habit Medical Center, and we're right inside Healthy Habit Health Foods. If you're new to the program here, I highly suggest you guys subscribe, hit the little bell icon, stay in the loop with everything we're doing here at Healthy Habit, keeping you informed with new supplements, new things happening here at both the medical center and the health food store. And here again, we're talking with Mr. Tom Dadant, who for the last 28 years has represented major supplement companies as a science educator and herbal storyteller. He joined the Host Defense education team in May of 2017. We're going on over 8 years now with Host Defense. And he began educating retailers and consumers nationwide on the benefits of mushrooms as dietary supplements. And overall, in the last 53 years of his life, Tom's been immersed in the natural foods movement and the dietary supplement industry. Tom, welcome back.
Always glad to come back. This is always one of the podcasts I look forward to.
I appreciate you saying that, my friend. One of the last times we had you on was episode 169, where we talked about better immune health with evidence-based mushrooms. We hit on Stamets 7, research specifically done on Stamets 7, Japanese research. We even hit on the fact that mushrooms have a prebiotic function. It's not just the immune system. So we even differentiated reishi, chaga, turkey tail, and much more. So that was an important episode with Tom as well. We did back in, let me pull up one more. Last time we had Tom here was 242, episode 242 with Tom Dadant, where we talked about why mushrooms should be part of a healthy lifestyle. We even hit on the mushroom of immortality, which is the reishi mushroom. So we might do some quick recaps here today, but how have you been since our last one, Tom?
Well, very active, traveling a lot as usual. We had a nice all-company gathering in Seattle, outside of Seattle, Olympia, Washington, a couple of weeks ago. And before that, I was up in upstate New York training retailers on how to sell and talk about mushroom products.
Incredible. So actually, you're tuning in from Hawaii on this one. Is that right?
Yeah, this one we're tuning in. I'm tuning in from Hawaii. Got that. I can say aloha to all of you.
There you go.
My little hula land.
And for those new to the Host Defense and the whole mushroom world, those are reishi mushrooms behind you there. Is that correct in the photo?
Yes, there's a number of different types of mushrooms. There's reishi mushrooms. There's some turkey tail, which is a mushroom that is probably the most researched mushroom out there.
Turkey tail is.
Yeah.
Interesting. And let's just start right there then. If that's the first time someone's ever heard of turkey tail mushroom, what are some high-level take-home points on that one before we dive into some real specific products and blends today?
Well, here's one of the fascinating things. You had mentioned earlier that last time we talked about mushrooms being a prebiotic, right? And the reason that they're the prebiotic is because, especially the way we're using them, especially the way we're growing them, culturing them, we grow them on brown rice. And the mycelium, or the rooting structure of the mushroom, basically penetrates all of the mushroom organism, penetrates all of that rice and changes it by digesting it. So that digestion is a fermentation process. So one of the things we know, and I'm sure you talked to your patients about this, is fermented foods are really good for our intestinal tract because they have lots and lots of great probiotic or prebiotic compounds that feed our probiotics. Now, when that rice is being digested by the mycelium, that mycelium's taking the caloric starch because it needs energy to grow, right? Just like we do. But it leaves the non-caloric starch, which is the fibrous stuff that our probiotics love. So in every capsule, in the powders, and not the liquids necessarily, but in the capsules and the powders, we have a lot of probiotic and prebiotic components that are there. And so when we're talking about turkey tail has the added advantage of being able to help downregulate certain pathogenic microorganisms in our intestines and upregulate our lactobacillus and our bifidobacillus species. And those are two very positive probiotics that are very helpful in maintaining gut health.
Incredible.
Okay. So, that's one of the main benefits there of turkey tail, is the fact that not only is it good for innate and adaptive immune system, but it's feeding our microbiome, which is literally 70% of our immediate immune response.
Amazing. Yeah, people, it's good to remind the customers and the listeners here of the show that our immune system is heavily influenced by our gut health. Right, Tom?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, thanks for that turkey tail highlight. That's an important mushroom. As you said, it's the most well researched mushroom that we know of. One of the key unique things about Host Defense is we have this MycoBotanicals line, which myco referring to the mushroom kingdom,
Mushroom, yep.
and then we have the botanicals. And as I did in your intro here, as I mentioned in your intro, you're an herbal storyteller. Herbal slash botanical. They go hand in hand, interchangeable terms. Tell us about this
Absolutely.
MycoBotanicals line. One of the last times we spoke, we highlighted the myco benefits. Even with Jerry Angelini in some of the past episodes here recently, we've highlighted
Uh-huh.
the myco benefits line. Tell us about the MycoBotanicals line, and then
So
we'll
the
dive into the immune. Yeah,
great mycobotanicals was conceptualized about 8 or 9 years ago when we realized that mushrooms were still very foreign to people. That's changed. A lot has changed in that 8 years, as I'm sure you realized. Mushrooms are everywhere now. But back then, people were still a little bit afraid of mushrooms. But we knew that there'd been a lot of education on herbs. And so what we did is we looked at the mushrooms and we said, okay, we can see all of the different wonderful things that mushrooms can support in our bodies. Let's make our products a combination of those mushrooms with herbs that do the same thing or complementary things so that they can bolster each other and have a broader spectrum effect on our immune system and our overall health. So that's what we did. We combined specific herbs with specific, products. So I'll give you a really good instance. It's one of our best-selling mycobotanicals. In fact, I think it is our best-selling mycobotanical. That's our mycobotanicals brain. So we've got lion's mane mushroom in there. We've got reishi mushroom, like you mentioned, the mushroom of immortality, and we've got cordyceps mushroom, which gives us more oxygenation. It helps us absorb more oxygen. And the brain uses oxygen. 25% of all the oxygen we breathe goes straight to the brain. So we knew those mushrooms were going to really benefit cognition. But because people weren't real familiar with lion's mane 8 years ago, we added ginkgo, and everybody knew ginkgo. Ginkgo is good for microcirculation, good for memory and recall. We added an Ayurvedic herb called bacopa, and bacopa was good for concentration and focus and memory recall. And because of those two herbs, people looked at those herbs and said, "Oh, I get what this product is about." So we've expanded that line. One of the ones that we've most recently come up with is one called MycoBotanicals Immune. And MycoBotanicals Immune has some turkey tail mushroom in it, which is part of the reason that it's such a strong immune supporting product, along with an old growth mushroom that we don't, and just so that people understand, we don't do any wild crafting. We grow all of our mushrooms through mycelial fermentation of rice in our grow rooms. And one of these mushrooms is a mushroom called agarikon.
mm,
Now, agarikon has a very broad spectrum of specific support for our immune system. And it pairs very perfectly with turkey tail. So that what you want to do is you want to be able to activate your immune system when something's going on, but you want to control it because you don't want it to go too much. I
right.
know you don't want, because those immune messengers, they call them cytokines. Some people may have heard of the term cytokine storm,
Mm,
where your body's releasing too many cytokines. And they cause inflammation. It's a natural process. It's not an unhealthy process, but you want it to be controlled. So with the mycobotanicals immune, we've got those three mushrooms. And then we added astragalus, which is a Chinese herb that's really supportive of your immune balance. We added Schisandra berry and goji berry. Both of those are Chinese berries, fruits that are highly supportive of the immune system, antioxidant support, and so on. And basically, there we go. With those added with the astragalus, we have a wonderful combination of mushrooms, and you can see there agarikon, turkey tail, reishi, chaga to help support our skin and the lining of our lungs, maitake to help support blood sugar balance. And so we also have some acerola cherry in there. Now, acerola cherry is a natural plant-based vitamin C, gives you about 83% of your daily recommended allowance of vitamin C
Mm.
just from the plant acerola berry. So we've got the cherries, the schizandra berry, the goji berry. Those are nice berries. They've got a great antioxidant profile as well. They're combined with those five mushrooms and the astragalus. And so this is a perfect example of a mycobotanical product. You've got the mushrooms that are supporting your immune system in many different ways. And then you've got the herbs that are also supporting your immune system in multiple ways. So you get this very broad spectrum, uplifting support of your immune function. And this is like a perfect example of what we were trying to achieve when we do mycobotanicals. We want herbs and mushrooms that work very well together
Mm-hmm.
to accomplish a mission. And that mission is to support your immunity especially as we go into the change of seasons right now. And I know, for you folks in Arizona, it's a little bit different than it would be for somebody in Michigan or
Yeah.
Chicago, someplace like that. But the idea is still the same. By supporting your immunity, you're better adjusted, if you will, to the idea of things coming in that you don't really want to have in your body.
Right.
You want that immune system to be strong enough to say, nope, sorry, no admission.
Right, and you're hitting it from multiple angles here with a product like this, with bringing in the vitamin C from the acerola cherry, which will help upregulate certain immune cells. Plus, then you have the five different mushrooms in there, which
Yeah.
they're acting as prebiotics. Plus, they're doing different things with upregulating the immune system, taking care of the skin health, and much more. So you're not just doing one thing here for the immune system, right, Tom? You're doing it
Yeah,
in
this is
multiple
this is
angles.
as probably as we have other product. We have a product like called My Community, which is all 17 of the mushrooms that we cultivate. But
Right.
this product was specifically to support and strengthen our immune response before it's even challenged.
Yeah. And I like having people, I like directing the listeners to the YouTube channel or customers or patients here because they can follow along visually with everything I'm
Yeah.
showing on the screen. I'm a visual guy. I like to see it instead of just hear it. So it's nice to actually follow along and see the pictures here of the five mushrooms. You have the maitake, reishi, chaga, turkey tail, and agarikon. There's that turkey tail that we opened up today's episode with. On that's one of the most, or the most, according to Tom, researched mushroom that we have on file or evidence for. And then we have the herb blend or the botanical blend with the acerola cherry, the astragalus, goji berries, and schizandra. All of these, like you mentioned, are key players in traditional Chinese medicine that have been used for thousands of years in different healing protocols. And tell us a bit more about astragalus. I want to hear more on that one.
Well,
That's a
now,
really good root.
now here's an interesting. I'll give you a Chinese sort of the Chinese overview of astragalus.
Uh huh.
Astragalus is meant to strengthen the outer defenses, if you will. So in Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese herbal medicine, they say that the body is protected by an energy level that they call Wei Qi.
Uh huh.
So Qi is energy and Wei is the outside. It's like a shield of armor that we have. And the really cool thing about astragalus is that one of the actions that the Chinese ascribe to astragalus is to strengthen that armor, to make it so that like your body is impenetrable.
Right.
And that's one of the ways that the astragalus is working in this formula, especially along with the schizandra, which has another component to it, which is liver protective.
Oh,
So
interesting.
schizandra being liver protective, your liver is having to process all of the debris that comes along when your body's trying to fight, let's say, a cold or a flu or something like that. Your liver is actually processing all of that stuff as it's being broken down by your body, by your body's defenses. And so schizandra is a wonderful liver tonic as well as a great immune tonic. And then you've
Incredible.
got goji berry doing the same thing, fortifying that chi, that immunity, so that the body can respond appropriately to whatever gets thrown at it.
And then hopefully we get that entourage effect, which we know that happens with mushrooms when you combine several different
Absolutely.
mushrooms appropriately. But now if you're adding in the botanicals with it, that will bring an even greater effect for
Yeah,
protecting the
and this,
immunity.
because these three, especially the acerola cherry, is from a slightly different part of the world,
Mm,
Caribbean mostly. But
right.
the astragalus, the goji, the schizandra, those have been used in combination for thousands of years, and they're highly, highly respected as being what are called tonifiers.
Right.
They tone and strengthen the body, which is great. The idea of having something that forces your immune system to do something that it overexcites your immune system, let's say, is very different than something that strengthens your immune system from within so that it responds appropriately every time.
Thank you, Tom, for that. And I want to add a little piece on astragalus. I just pulled up like a one pager I love on astragalus because not many people know this for immune system function and the traditional Chinese medicine approach, like the fact that it enhances immunity by stimulating lymphocytes and macrophages, which improves cellular and humoral immunity. So different phases of immunity. It boosts the production of antibodies and interleukins, regulates immune organ indices, has anti-inflammatory effects, which can even treat in other certain ailments. It's
Yep.
actually being currently studied for even in cancer. We're not giving any medical advice or oncology advice, but it's an area of ongoing research to enhance the body's ability to fight different types of cancers, especially because of its effect on T cells. And again, this is astragalus, folks. Typically, the root is being used of that plant. So, thanks for that, Tom. That was a good highlight. And this is the MycoBotanicals immune powder, and this only comes in a powder form. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. The powder form for us, what we wanted, sometimes people they take so many capsules or pills that they're just kind of pill fatigue
Right. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
capsule fatigue. And the powder, this is a very interesting powder because it has a kind of a sweet tart taste to it. So it blends very well with fruit juices. And great with
Okay.
smoothies in the morning. I mean, it's just an easy way to boost your immune system and not just boost it because we don't, like I said, we don't want to overexcite it, but this is to boost the overall response of the immune system so it stays in balance. The one thing that we like to talk about mushrooms the most is that they're modulating. Modulation is a balancing effect. It keeps the immune system always in that what we like to call the Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold,
Right.
right there in the middle. And so this is as a powder, it can be blended with hot teas. I take it sometimes with a nice English breakfast tea in the morning to give that English breakfast tea a little bit of a tang. Sometimes people put lemon juice in it. I like to put this powder in.
Uh huh.
It goes really good with blood orange juice. It goes great with, tart apple juice. So it's got a great blending effect to it, and it goes smoothies. It's absolutely wonderful.
I'm pro fruit juice. It's not a very common thing in this society that we live in today, but that's for a different topic. And I feel like that would be a nice taste right there, especially with the acerola cherry
Yeah,
and
you
the
got the
goji.
acerola and the schizandra. Now,
Uh
in
huh.
Chinese medicine, they call schizandra the five flavor fruit because it has all
Okay.
five flavors.
Oh wow. Interesting. Well, there you go, folks. That's the MycoBotanicals immune line. We're stocked up and ready to go here for immune season here, fall and winter here at Healthy Habit Health Foods. Just ask one of our staff for the host defense mushrooms immune powder. One other thing I like about powders is you don't have to add all the other fillers to it, right, Tom?
Not at all.
It's stable on its own, and you can hit higher doses with the powder
That's
compared
a,
to
you,
caps.
you hit it right on the head there, Dr. Dion. That's this. The thing is that if people want to take more without having to gag down handfuls of capsules, the powder's the way to, and it's the most economical. Our
Right.
powders are much cheaper and more affordable because they don't have to run through the encapsulation process.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's episode 246 here with Mr. Tom Dadant. We're back talking host defense mushrooms in our monthly check in with a great company that does all things mushrooms, in this case, combining botanicals and mushrooms together. Again, through the MycoBotanicals lines, which are the host defense formulas featuring carefully selected herbs to complement specific mushrooms for a powerful impact on targeted body systems. And that's straight from fungi.com. You can even go to hostdefense.com. And with the time that we have left here today, I want to finish off on the MycoBotanicals liver formula. This one comes in capsule form. Let's differentiate these two, and I'm going to pull up another screen share here to to go over with our YouTube viewers, Tom. Go ahead with the
Yeah,
MycoBotanicals liver.
absolutely. Again, this is another botanicals and mushroom combination. The botanicals, like milk thistle seed extract, are all known, very well known and researched to support liver function. And when you combine them with mushrooms that are known to also support liver function, you have the best of both worlds because you're getting that the gift, if you will, from the fungal kingdom
Right.
as well as the gift from the herbal kingdom. So you can see there we've got chaga, we've got reishi, and there's turkey tail again, because turkey tail, as another benefit of that particular mushroom, helps to support phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification processes in the liver. Now, reishi is there also supporting phase 1 and phase 2, and chaga supports phase 2, which is actually the more important uh, aspect of liver detoxification, because that's where compounds that are extremely hard to break down or toxic to the body get further broken down and neutralized, if you will.
Right.
Then we've got turmeric and milk thistle. And then people look at the black pepper in this sometimes and they go, well, why do we have black pepper in there?
Yeah.
Turmeric has many, many different compounds, not just curcumin. So when people think, oh, I want curcumin, that's only one tiny compound in the whole turmeric rhizome or root. And so when you use black pepper, it's an Ayurvedic adjunct that enhances assimilation of turmeric in the process. So it's a whole black pepper. It's not, you can see it says black pepper fruit. It's not something called bioperine, which is again an extract of
Extract.
only one compound out of the black pepper. The Ayurvedic physicians for thousands of years knew that black pepper supported digestion, it supported proper blood sugar balances, and it supported proper immune function and absorption of other herbs so they very often blended a lot of their herbal compounds with black pepper.
Incredible. Yeah, and turmeric's in there, like you mentioned, which a lot of people don't know that it's amazing for the liver as well. It helps with
Yep.
detoxification. It's
Yeah,
not
we
just
people think
for pain.
inflammation with
Yeah, yeah.
turmeric, and so that's why they're looking at the curcumin, because that's the sort of anti-inflammatory effect or aspect of the um, turmeric. But when you look at the rest of the compounds in there, there's so much liver support
Right.
because it's such a good. I mean, even to the point where color-wise, herbs are classified in what they call doctrine of signatures. The doctrine of signature is going to tell you what it can be used for. Turmeric is very yellow. The liver's color is yellow. When you've got jaundice and imbalance of the liver,
Yeah.
you get yellow eyes because that liver is expressing that color. So turmeric is a wonderful herb to control the liver, to help balance the liver and protect it, along with the black pepper and the milk thistle seed. Now, milk thistle seed has been used in Europe and European herbalism for generations because of its solid scientific basis for protecting the liver cells from degradation.
It's amazing. Nature sometimes gives us signs of what certain foods or botanicals might be useful for certain
Yeah,
body systems. Like
absolutely.
walnuts are a
Look
perfect
like the
example.
brain. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
So that's another case where the turmeric root, specifically the root, is always being used in turmeric, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Now, milk thistle seed, you can see it's a seed
Yeah,
of the milk thistle, and that's an extract of that seed.
got
And
it.
we're using chaga. And one of the reasons chaga's in this formula is because it's a highly antioxidant. It has a lot of antioxidant properties. And antioxidants are very necessary in that liver detoxification process to rebalance atoms that have been thrown out. They lose an electron here or there and they become a free radical.
Yeah,
And donating those antioxidant radicals, they can take that free radical and change it back into a healthier compound.
amazing. And that word, Tom, detox, gets thrown around a lot now in the
Yeah,
alternative
it sure
health world, the
does.
natural health healing or preventative medicine world. But it's an actual process that's happening every single day, all day in our body,
Yeah.
detoxification. That's why we have here in this ingredients and benefits chart. It supports phase 2 liver detox in the case of chaga. Turmeric is more like phase 1, and then reishi, the mushroom of immortality, the one you can see in the background there on Tom's
Yeah.
screen, supports both phases of liver detox. But detox is a real thing that's happening. It just some people tend to throw it around a lot in the wrong settings. So it's a real phenomenon, detoxification. Who might be a candidate for this? Again, we're not giving any medical advice, but maybe someone with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or even fatty liver disease from excess alcohol, or
Yep.
just in general, someone that's trying to clean house. What are your thoughts there? And we'll finish
Well,
on that
you
note.
know, the thing is, we're constantly exposed to toxins. Our
Right.
environment is a toxic environment.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many chemical compounds that weren't natural to our body, when all of this process started. And so we're exposed to things in the clothing. They treat some of our clothing with chemicals that can be toxic, that can be
Yeah.
absorbed through the skin. We're breathing in exhaust when we're driving around in the car. So many different things. The liver is in charge of doing all of that detoxification
Yeah.
and supporting it in any way we can. Now, you can use this on a regular basis. You can use it quarterly. Say, okay, I'm going to take 1 month out of 3 months, and I'm just going to do liver cleanse. And you can do it as a half a year, every 6 months, or you can do it once a year.
Right.
But really, the liver actually, even though, and medical professionals will tell you, oh, the liver cleans itself, it doesn't need help. Um, that's not exactly true. Everything needs support.
Mm.
If you are not giving your body the ingredients that it needs to perform the functions that it performs,
Right.
you're not going to get the same benefit as if it's performing the functions effectively.
Amazing, folks. Love Your Liver by Host Defense Mushrooms, a blend of mushroom mycelium and herbs, botanicals, to support liver health in phases 1 and 2 of metabolic detoxification. You can order online if you're out of state, or come into Healthy Habit Health Foods, folks. We have the whole setup here of Host Defense Mushrooms. And I think we'll leave it on that note, but I have so many more questions as always for Tom, but we might have to save that for our next check-in.
Anytime
And
you want me back, I'm ready,
yeah,
Dr. John.
I appreciate your time. Hostdefense.com, folks, or fungi.com. Do you say fungi or fungi, Tom?
Well, you could say either one. A fungi, then you got to talk about the fungals too. So,
Right, right.
um,
Yeah, yeah. So fungi.com,
yeah,
fungi.com, or hostdefense.com.
yeah.
Until next time, Tom, always appreciate your time. Enjoy Hawaii. Have fun.
Thank you very much. Aloha, and we'll talk to you next time.